Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Planes, Trains, and Comic Books channel. My name's Matt, and today we're going to review DC versus Vampires #1. And before we get into that, if you guys would mind sharing, subscribing, it really helps me out and lets me know what you guys want to see more of. So, with that being said, let's get straight into it. All right, so we see this is a DC comic book called DC versus Vampires. This is #1 of 12. It's a limited maxi series. And it's by James Tynion the Fourth, Matthew Rosenberg, and Schmidt on art. We start off with this guy named Andrew Bennett, who is a vampire. He's actually from the series I, Vampire from the New 52. He is saying that he's being hunted right now. He's trying to get to the Justice League. He needs to tell them something. And as he's running to the Hall of Justice, he jumps and gets hit by a car. And then, the sun touches him and he catches on fire. But luckily, Green Lantern is there to save him. He puts him out and brings him into the Hall of Justice. And they kind of start talking about what's going on. This is Hal Jordan. I didn't realize that because he looks so young or whatever. I don't know why he's so young in this. And this is another guy named Zan, who is actually one of the Wonder Twins, I guess, who's in the comics now. They're the only people in the Hall of Justice right now. So he can't tell the whole Justice League, but he's like, just tell me what's going on. He breaks it down for them. There's his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend, Mary, Queen of Blood, is a vampire elder, the leader of a cult. And apparently she's been killed and overthrown. And she was the only thing balancing the war between the vampires and the humans. She had made sure the vampires kind of stayed under wraps for the last couple hundred years. And whoever's going to take over her place is going to wage war now on humans. So Andrew, I guess, decided once he found out that Mary was dead, decided to track down who did it, and he found out it was actually someone in the Legion of Doom that had done it. So he got on the ship, but everybody was dead, including people like Solomon Grundy. I'm like, how did they kill him? But whatever. We see Sinestro and Black Mana, the ventriloquist. So then we find out that they had at least the vampires had this big plan to take out the sun with this big shield, and also had people they were going to kill off right away, I guess they say, and people who they were going to potentially use as allies, like the Joker and Ra's al Ghul. They know where they're all at as far as the Earth goes. So they're trying to preempt the war before anybody really finds out about it. And then Andrew runs into Lex Luthor, who is about to die. He tells Andrew, hey, I don't want these fucker guys to win. I wasn't part of this. They killed all of the people who weren't part of it. If you're trying to help us, then here is my blood. You have them mix it down or whatever. I don't know if he's already bitten or something, and that's why this matters. They haven't really explained why the blood's important. But take this blood and, it'll make the Justice League trust you with this message. Then we see there are guys who are bad from the Legion of Doom that are vampires, like Gorilla Grodd apparently is a vampire, the Riddler, and basically they sound the alarm on him, so he's got to run away. And that's basically how we ended up here. He's been on the run since then and trying to get to the Hall of Justice. I'm not sure exactly how this happened or why it happened. But basically, Hal Jordan's like, I'm glad you told us this, friend. And then Hal grabs Zan and throws him in a construct blender and shows that he is a vampire, that he has evolved, and actually is able to kill Zan in the blender. So he blends Zan up in the blender. I guess he made it so he couldn't say form of water or whatever the fuck his powers are. So before he can say anything, he gets blended up in the blender, and then he proceeds to drink him like a smoothie, he says. So I'm going to leave it there. There's a bit more in this book, but I didn't want to spoil everything. This book is, I'm going to say it's ridiculous, we'll say. I don't understand how this fits into normal continuity. They don't try to fit it in at all. So this is supposed to be Earth Prime. It seems like they're trying to force this into main continuity, and it doesn't make any sense to me as far as how can you recover from that. I don't know how you make Hal Jordan a vampire. A lot of this stuff doesn't make sense. They try to explain that Hal can control light spectrums, and that's why he can control ultraviolet spectrums, which is why he doesn't get burned by the sun. Honestly, it's just a mess, and it's kind of boring. Andrew Bennett, like I said, is from I, Vampire from the New 52 series. It seems like they're just okay, he's a vampire, and he's in our world, so that's how we'll start this off, but I don't see the connection of why do we why is everybody vulnerable to vampires? You know, like how does a vampire bite Superman? And then why would you have Hal be the first one to turn or whatever? So I don't know. It seems weird to me. It seems like it should be like an Elseworld story or something going on. Like Marvel Zombies took place on another planet, and therefore you could have it happen and not really. You could just have fun with it and not really involve uh, anything important. Whereas this seems like it's in continuity, and I don't know how they're going to recover from this or anything. But also, I don't really care to find out how they recover from it. Like this is fairly boring. I don't know. I kind of wish they would have just like started off with Mary getting executed and stuff, and like actually followed Andrew. Uh, Maybe like he is narrating that story, but we follow him from the beginning, and it's fully drawn and everything. It's not a flashback pages, and then we end up with Hal Jordan here, and he reveals himself. It might be a bigger reveal. It just seems kind of like slapped together, not really thought out. And yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 2. You might have more fun with it than I did if you've been reading more of the continuity. Maybe that's what it is. I don't read too much of the main series like Batman or Superman or Justice League. I read like Booster Gold and Blue Beetle and Swamp Thing and stuff. So if I don't, maybe I'm missing something. But yeah, this just seemed kind of like forced. Like we're gonna force this event for some reason. Like I said, I'm gonna give this one a 2. It's not really a recommend. Nothing really happens in it. No action or anything. There's some like funny quips or whatever from Hal Jordan that doesn't really seem like him, and then he blends up one of his friends. I feel like Hal Jordan, being the willpower, guy, would have enough willpower to at least resist the vampire. Like he just goes evil straight away. So I feel like he'd kind of be like torn up a bit or something, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the DC vampires are different than other vampires. So your mileage may differ on this one. You might like it a lot. And in that case, enjoy it, have fun. But I did not like this one. So with that being said, we will see you guys on the next one.